All right, welcome everybody to our December 8th Physical Facilities Safety Committee meeting. This will be our fourth one. I am recording it and I will send out a recording to everyone who maybe hasn't been able to Zoom in. It looks like we have 12, 13 of us here, 14 now, and there are 18 in our committee. So it looks like maybe some of them are still not able to join for some reason. All right, I'm going to share my screen. And the agenda, let me make it just a little bit larger. Okay, give me a hands up, a thumbs up if you can see my agenda on your screen. Very good, all right. We've asked Andy Manning to give us an opening prayer, so would you like to go ahead and unmute yourself and do that, Andy?
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for this day and the opportunity we have to work here at BYU, and ask that Thy will be with us as we talk about the safety of our campus community. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Andy. Okay, we have, as normal, we're going to start with a risk management safety presentation by David Smith. You're going to love this one. David, would you like me to, let me make it so you can share your screen. I'm going to stop my share and multiple participants can share. Okay, can you share?
Dave, are they going to love it because they're going to have like a good 10-minute nap, or why is it? Just kidding.
Okay, you should be able to share your screen now, David.
Thanks for doing that. Okay, cool. Hey, me and Dave were talking, and we were talking about an incident we had about back in 2018. We presented actually in a conference down in Salt Lake with the church and with a bunch of other stuff we were sharing of incidents at BYU. And I'm just going to share with you a piece. So I'm going to move really quick, but I wanted to show you guys this incident we had. It's called the rock crusher incident. And it really shows a really good example of how we kind of had to work together with the geology department to try to figure out how to solve a problem they had with a piece of equipment. And it really goes over the hierarchy of controls. And so I know you guys have heard of the hierarchy of controls. I just want to share this really quick with you. So the hierarchy of controls is really just a system we use in safety that helps us find better controls, have better life cycle value, and have better effectiveness over time. And so the best control you really can find is elimination. So you eliminate the hazard and you're done, right? Substitution would be, use a really hazardous chemical, you swap it off for a less hazardous chemical so people don't get hurt as much. And it just keeps going down. Engineering controls like guards and interlocks. Then it goes to warning signs. Administrative controls are like training and policies and programs. And then PPE. And PPE is always at the end. I know you guys have heard this. It's your last line of defense. Because it really puts you really intimate with the hazard. So, if you're gonna, you can smash your toes, you wear steel toe boots, right? But it doesn't really stop the hazard a lot of times from getting to your foot, right? So that's why they don't consider it the best control, but it's still a good control. So let me show you guys this incident. This is the rock crusher. And if you can see, the guard is open on the very top. It's where the hopper is. We put the rocks in the two rollers. So we had an employee who stuck their hand in between those two rollers while it was turned on. So as you imagine what it does to rocks, it crushes and pulverizes rocks. Well, they put their hand in there on accident. They were cleaning it. So what they do is with this old piece of machinery, and see how it's kind of pulled away from the wall, and it's just an old piece of machinery that doesn't really have all the safety things you need. Anyways, they open up the guard. It doesn't turn off when you open up the guard like a lot of new equipment does with interlocks. They took a brush, put it on the rollers to clean it, and the machine actually pulled his hand in. And he was really lucky, I think, for a lot of reasons. One, he had really small hands, so his hand never really got pulled into the system completely in between the rollers, and the rollers were pulled apart. But it did take off the skin on both sides of his hands, and he got stuck, and he was trying to get out. He was lucky it didn't pull his fingers off or his hand, parts of his hand, which would have been really horrible. So it was a pretty lucky scenario and still a bad scenario. But let me just share with you some of the safety hazards we found when we looked into it. We looked at that hierarchy of controls and we started thinking, okay, what are some of the things that are messed up with the machine? Well, there was the on-off switch was located on the wall, so you couldn't stop it if you were an operator. There was no tripping mechanism to shut off the machine, like a big red stop button in the front. There was the guard was a fixed guard, but it did not protect the operator from revolving rollers. So the guard, he could bypass it, right, really easily and keep the machine on. There was no secondary emergency off switch. No warning signs, caution signs on the equipment telling him the dangers of putting his hand near the rollers. And there's no formal training or documentation of training on the machine. So my question to you guys is, what would you do if you saw a piece of equipment like this and you want to protect your employees?
Replace it.
I love that. Corey, you say that, replace it?
Yep.
That's the best option, right? Could keep, anybody have anything else?
We'll put a guard on it that has an interlock.
Okay, awesome. Interlock with guard with the interlock. Okay, that would fix the problem too. Anything else you guys want to share? Think of anything?
I would say you could just throw a shroud over it with big lettering. Do not operate unless you've talked to somebody or something. So they have to pull a shroud off with a big warning sign on it, and that heads up at the very least.
Get an emergency kill switch.
I love it. Emergency kill switch. Okay.
Probably a safety sign that says small hand operator only.
Yes. No, seriously, in this incident, I went to the review and I was like, if this kid's hand was a little bigger, we would have been really bad.
One option that you could explore with this, if the machine has to be in operation until all these other good ideas could be implemented, is maybe have a 2-man mandatory team in the cleaning maintenance, so that in case something happens, so there's a second person there that could shut the machine down. I don't know, that might work.
That's actually a really good idea. You know, we have a lot of processes on campus. That's a good administrative control, you know, where we have some of the jobs where more competent people are doing them that are more hazardous. Really good idea. Totally. Those are awesome ideas. So let me share with you guys what we came up with. This is not the total right answer. In fact, I'm guessing you guys could have done a better job than we did on this, but I'll just share with you some of the stuff we did. We discussed the option that Corey brought up of buying new equipment. We got denied. There was the machine they said that was the only machine that did exactly what they wanted and could afford, and so we had to take out elimination substitution off the list, because even though we wanted to do that first. So Corey had a great idea, but we did get shot down on that one a little bit. We moved the equipment back into proper place, so the ventilation hood, because as you guys know, when you work with crushed rock, there's potential silica exposure, different minerals and rocks and stuff like that get in your lungs. So that was administrative control, get it back in place. We installed an interlock on the guard. Dave, that's the one you talked. We picked a magnetically actuated inner guard because that works with a lot of good with vibration equipment. So that was an engineering control. And we installed a kill switch in the front. I think it was Jared or Joseph, I'm trying to remember which one, or Andy brought up the kill switch. We put that in front. We spliced the cord on the wall. This is an interesting one because we wanted to make it really easy. And you guys all know what lockout tagout is, but we wanted to make it really easy for them to actually apply lockout and tagout. So all they had to do was unplug the cord and they had control of lockout tagout. It was de-energized and they could still clean it. So that was the engineering control because we had to cut the cord. We added warning signs. You guys mentioned the warning signs as well. into the equipment and on the handles. So when they actually touch the handle, there's a sign on it. And then we created a formal hands-on training record retention system. So and that was administrative control. So people actually were trained to use the equipment. Last, we offered support to evaluate equipment in their lab, another administrative control. Well, I don't have the finished photo. I apologize. I should have ran up there and got it. This is the old photo back a couple of years ago, but we did add all these things on. And I'm trying to remember, I think I paid a couple $100 for an interlock switch, where it's where we put on that top of that guard, where so if it opened it, it shut off. And we did put a kill switch in front right there. We did get that attached. In fact, your guys' groups may have been the ones who did the changes. Was anybody in here remember this? Or did the repairs on this? I know your guys' team did it in electrical. Anybody from electrical remember that?
Yeah, Mark is here from electrical. Do you remember anything about that, Mark?
Remember that, Mark?
No, I had nothing to do with it. I don't know about it.
Okay, so someone else may have done that one, but I know they got it done, and but they added all those controls in place, and it probably, I mean, I don't know what the labor costs, but I know for materials and stuff, it costs us, you know, well under $300 to fix the machine to make it a safer thing. So anyways, I just share that with you guys because there's an incident that could have gone really, I mean, it went bad, but it could have gone really, really bad. And you know, just going through that process with our teams, you know, thinking about the hazards, the potential that's there, you know, finding opportunities to train your students or employees, you know, to better understand the potential hazards in the workplace, and teach them this hierarchy of controls process. You can stop a lot of incidents and a lot of injuries, potential injuries on site. So, anyways, I just would recommend just, you know, taking you know, the hierarchy of controls back to your workplace and motivate your employees to start using that process. It's a good process. So, anyways, I know you guys already do this, but it's just a friendly reminder of all this stuff. So, anyways, I thought you'd enjoy that incident. Any questions?
Yes. Now, all of us work with different kinds of equipment in our shops. I'm assuming that you are a resource. If we have a concern about a piece of equipment, you can come and do an evaluation for us and help us walk through what we need to do to address that concern. Is that correct?
Yeah, and a lot of times, you know, we're doing a big project at the UPB right now, and we just started doing it, but we're also looking at things like how to make it easier to perform like lockout, tagout processes. Like, for instance, in this instance, we spliced the cord. It was a really simple, there was one source of energy in this piece of equipment, made it real easy. And all you do is just, we put in our process in our training up there that you unplug the cord and you have what we call exclusive control. And there's your lockout, tagout. It's that easy in some instances, you know, a lot of the equipment.
Hey, Dave, will you mention what we're planning to do with our review of the lockout, tagout procedure university-wide? Just kind of give the committee an update on what our direction is.
Yeah, guys, we had a really interesting incident back in this summer, and there's an employee with us that's going to be going through surgery probably for the next 2 years on their hand. And we got a citation from the government, from OSHA, on this one, just so you guys know. And it really kind of opened our eyes to some of the stuff we may be missing. And we've been trying to really look at lockout, tagout a lot. And I think I mentioned this incident to you guys a couple of months ago, but if you have like we added to the policy, if you have like a dual source of energy to a piece of equipment, like 2 electrical, sources that go to a piece of equipment, or a electrical and a pneumatic source, or, you know, whatever it may be, an energy source like that, we're looking at just creating really simple, you know, lockout, tagout procedures. And if you guys need help with that, I've assigned some of our students and kind of done some light training, and then they review it with us to go out and to help with that. So if you guys need help with that stuff, we're glad to help. And Dave has been revamping the lockout, tagout training with Amber Recorder, who you guys, I know most of you know, has been really good to kind of update that. And also, I'm going around and helping with some audits with the electrical group and some of the construction groups as well, just to make sure that we're compliant with making sure we're doing kind of continuous audits throughout the year. So those are some of the things we're doing different that we didn't do last year, probably as well. Does that help, Dave?
That does. That does. Are there any other questions for Dave? Okay, if you want to give me,
I'm good.
very good. And I will share my screen again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, David. That was awesome. Okay, let me just, number 2 on the agenda, I thought it would be good to talk a little bit this month about distractions in the workplace, specifically cell phone distractions. Our society is, everybody has a cell phone now, and I think it would be helpful for us to do an emphasis on this in all of our shops, to just kind of bring it to everybody's consciousness and maybe help us to be a little more careful. I have a couple of YouTube videos, they're just small little clips that will help lead into this. So I'm gonna go into YouTube here. And I have saved this under, safety videos. There we go. Safety. Maybe it's up here. Library. Oh, I should have had this. Oh, there it is. Safety. Okay. Here's the 2 videos under safety. We're going to watch this one first.
I survived a horrific accident, but paid a terrible price. Apart from the injuries which disabled me for life, I lost my income, my freedom, and I couldn't even get compensation. It was found that Anil had placed himself and others at risk by working in an unsafe manner, despite having been given clear safety instructions the very morning of the accident.
Okay, that's the first one. The second one is consequences of using...
Everything about Anil's unsafe behavior.
That was the first one. It's this one right here.
Okay, pressure looks good. Let's come off.
Decannulating.
You want to give me a hand over here?
Yeah, just give me a sec.
Systolic's gone to 75.
Suction, more suction.
There's a gas leak on this floor. I need everyone else now. Let's go, move.
Dr. Harris, he's crashing.
Is there anyone still up there?
Okay, I'm going to email you all the links to these two YouTube videos, and I ask you to each in your shops share this, either email out these links to the people in your shops or share it in some way, and have some sort of a discussion this month, during the month of December, on distractions, specifically cell phone distractions in the workplace. I think that would be helpful for us to do periodically with all of our employees. Any comments about these videos? I'm sure glad the doctor who operates on me doesn't use a cell phone, or
Does you know
use, yeah. Pretty scary. And that first video was an actual incident. It wasn't just dramatized. It actually happened with that in that construction situation.
And David, I'd like to say I found it interesting that they actually had the safety meeting in the morning and the accident happened. And in our company, before I came to BYU, we had a couple times where we would have a safety meeting and then would have an accident the same day. And we could never really figure it out. Why? You'd think that that's when it would be in everyone's mind to the utmost, but it's not. And it goes to show you that, you know, like what you've been helping us with, staying up on it and creating a new culture is really important.
Yeah, that is an interesting connection there. Okay. Item 3 has to do with the new, it's not called Y-Train anymore. Our online training is now officially called Training LMS. And this is just new. Since we last spoke, we thought that we'd be able to retain that name of Y-Train, but apparently it's owned by the company that owns the software we were using. And so the new company is actually called Absorb, but we're not going to refer to the training system as Absorb. We're going to refer to it as Training LMS. And LMS stands for Learning Management System, which is sort of a common term for online learning. So Training LMS. I'm going to take you through how to go to that. I'm going to bring up a web page, and you go to My BYU, and you can see here in My BYU, there is a work tab. If you hover over that work tab, hover over that work tab and scroll down, it is right in there. It's under Training LMS right there. And that link will take you to the new training management system, learning management system. We're linking up to that now. And you can see it takes you to this landing page. It will have your name, of course, up there instead of mine. And it shows 3 options for you. One is My Courses. If you click on that, it will just show what courses you've enrolled in, and it'll show you if you've completed them. If you click on this BYU icon up in the left-hand corner, it will take you back to that landing page. The next option is Catalog. You click on Catalog, and it will show you a list of all the departments and how many trainings they have created and uploaded into this LMS in the system. So you can scroll down, you can find physical facilities right there. We have, it says 99 plus. We actually have quite a few more than that, quite a number more than that. We have 170 or something like that. 175. Then if you click back on the landing page, you can go into the other catalogs as well. You can go and see what risk management has available or dining services has available. And all of those trainings are available to any of our employees to take. They're not exclusive for their areas. In fact, we do use a lot of risk management trainings in our curricula. Okay, and then this one here, this transcript will just take you into your personal transcript. It will show you the courses that you have taken and your score on them, when you took them, when you enrolled, and when you completed them. Now you can see, we're looking at my transcript right now. You can see it's not showing any of the historical data yet from the old Y-Train. We thought that would all be uploaded to the system yesterday, but there's been some sort of a delay. And so I will let you know when that is available, but you should be able to see that eventually. And I'm going to take you now back to the landing page, and I want to show you the most useful tool on this landing page is going to be this little search icon up in the right-hand corner. If you click on that, it brings up a search field, and then you can type in any training or any word that is part of a training, and it will come up. So we're going to put in D-R-I-V-E-R, driver. See what happens, and press enter. And you can see that it will bring up anything that has driver in the title. CSC driver delivery, dining services truck driver, defensive driving, van driving. Now, some of these trainings, there is a little number on there. That means that that is not a single training. That is what they call a curriculum. We used to call them catalogs in the old Y-Train. In the new system, it's called a curriculum. And so if you were to click on this enroll button for this campus floral curriculum, it would actually enroll you in all 4 of those courses immediately. You might not want to do that though. You might want to just enroll in 1 or 2 of them. So in that case, you don't click on the enroll portion of the tile. You click up here and it will open it up and it will show you what is in that curriculum. There are 4 courses and you can enroll individually in those if you want. All right. I'm going to X out of that now. I'm going to bring up that search button again, and I'm going to put in curriculum. I'm going to search on curriculum, and you can see that it will return. Oh, wait, what did I spell? Oh, I spelled it wrong. Okay, it will return anything that has curriculum in the name. And you can see I've created curricula for most of our shops, well, for several of our shops so far. You can, let's see, who's here, who's someone here in this? You can see Randy Heward's curriculum for the electric shop. And there are 36 courses in his curriculum. And for Denny Vincent in the carpenter shop, you see Kirk's picture 3 times, because we've made 3 curricula for you. One of them is for all the full-time employees, has 24 courses. One of them is for the part-time employees that work in the shop. It's called Carpenter Shop Part-Time, has 15 courses. And the other one is for the Carpenter Shop part-time employees who work outside the shop, and there are 10 courses in there. Now, I can create additional curricula for any of your shops upon request. But I won't do that until you let me know. There was just such a disparity in the different requirements for the carpenter shop that I went ahead and created 3 curricula for them. So that's sort of how that works. Are there any questions about how to get into a curriculum? For Carrie, if you were to click on the building envelopes curriculum, you would see that there it will load these. There are 21 courses that he's having his people do, and you can enroll in them individually or as an entire group. Now, one other thing I need to tell you that we can't put a curriculum inside another curriculum. So if you open up a curriculum, you won't see another curriculum in there. There are some shops that need to have the CMV driving training, for example, which is its own curriculum. So I couldn't input it. I couldn't put it in a curriculum. Instead, for the, let's say, for one of the shops of flooring and upholstery, they have a lot of drivers there. And so if they enroll in that entire curriculum, it will automatically, there's a way that I was able to link the CMV curriculum to it. It will enroll them also in the CMV curriculum at the same time, but it does not show up in that list of 23 courses inside the flooring upholstery curriculum. Did you follow that? And I can do the same thing with forklifts. So if any of you have forklifts as part of your requirements for your shop, what I've actually done is I've linked it separate. And if they push the enroll for the entire curriculum, it will enroll them in forklift. If they don't want to enroll in the entire curriculum, though, they'll need to do a search on forklift and enroll in that curriculum separately. Okay, I will be, we have about, maybe 2 or 3 more dozen curricula that needs to be created for the various shops, a lot of them for grounds. We have several, we probably have, 30 different curricula within grounds that I'm creating, and we have several in custodial services as well that I'm creating. So there will be, by the time we're done, maybe 50 or 60 curricula that are physical facilities curriculum. And once again, you can search on any part of that. You could search on electric, and it would bring up the electric shop curriculum as one of the options. Or you can click on housing and bring up the housing shop curriculum as one of the options. I think this is a very, very good system. Now, one other thing that you'll need to be aware of, we've set up all of the courses so that if you sign up for the course, you will get an email. If you enroll, you will get an email saying you have enrolled for that course. And once you've completed the course, you will get an email saying you've completed the course. That is universal for all of our courses that we've set up. That wasn't necessarily the case in the old Y-Train. It's kind of a confirmation by email for you. Has everyone had a chance to get into this new system and take a look at it? Anybody have a question about it? Okay, reach out to me or send me an email if you have any needs at all. And once again, if there is something you don't understand or isn't working properly for you, I need to know about it so that we can address it and get it working properly. We're still on a little bit of a learning curve and implementation phase for this. All right, we're going to go back to our agenda. All right. Last month, I gave you a list of practical testers for truck driving and forklifts and MEWP lifts. And I found out after the fact, and a little bit during the meeting as well, that that was not completely accurate. So I have an accurate one. It is in spreadsheet form. I've brought the spreadsheet up here and you can look at it. You can see down at the bottom, there are tabs for each type of course test. So there's a tab for truck driving, and you can see we have 31 practical testers for truck driving. And they're sorted by last name. We have a contact information there, and it shows what department they're in. And this is accurate. This is according to the official record risk management has on file. In order to be a practical tester, you have to actually sign a document, and your supervisor signs it as well, showing that you have had the training, and then it is filed in risk management. And so these people are all official. So that's the truck practical there. It includes all of our areas. There's a list of practical testers for the gem cart. I didn't even realize we had this one until I got this list. So there are about 8 of those. Fall protection, they have 5 of those, mostly part of Leif Smith's group up there. Scaffolding, practical testers, also part of Leif, mainly handled by Leif Smith's group. They're the experts in high work. And then all of the lifts are on this tab here under MEWP. You can see there are 9 practical testers who have been certified, but they do not all test on every type of lift. So you can see on column F here, it shows what lifts they are qualified to do the practicals on. So you needed to know that information before you call and do your practicals for your man lifts. And you can see who these people are and where they work and how to contact them. And then forklift is the last tab here. There are 7 people who can do forklift. Brent Swayze, this last one down here, he is not part of physical facilities. He is the main expert on campus when it comes to forklifts, and he has actually done the training for our other practical testers. And if we can, we want to probably use the practical testers in physical facilities as our first option. And then if none of them are available, then we'll go to Brent or some of those others that are not in physical facilities. That just kind of keeps it in-house, and it gives our testers opportunity as well to regularly test and keep up on how they're doing there. Are there any questions about this? I will email this out to everybody with the minutes. Okay. Another thing I wanted to mention to you that is not on the agenda is that we have received the official word now as far as fall protection requirements on lifts are concerned. We are not requiring lifts that are vertical lifts, the scissor lifts and any lift that just goes vertically up and down. We are not requiring harness and fall protection equipment like that. They do not need to be hooked in for those types of lifts. They do need to be hooked in for any articulating lifts that go out horizontally. Those are absolutely required. But this has an implication for you, Jared, because you have fall protection equipment on all of those lifts, those scissor lifts that you send out. You do not need to do that anymore. It is official. We have the word from Jim Dane. You do not need to provide the fall protection equipment anymore. We don't want to get rid of fall protection equipment.
So just to understand, any vertical lift, scissor lift that we send out on campus, we don't have to have fall protection with it, or we just don't have to require use of it?
You do not need to have it with it.
Wow. Okay.
It's not necessary to require it. I guess it wouldn't hurt to have it there, but it's not required to use it. Maybe the thing to do is to leave it there and let them choose, huh?
That's interesting. Okay, thank you.
That is the official word, and that is just a week old. We've been dealing with this issue for almost a year now, and we finally got the official go-ahead from Jim Dane for that. All right. Now, does everyone understand the reason for that differentiation? Of a horizontal lift has the ability to bounce somebody out, whereas a vertical lift that just goes straight up and down does not have that same tendency, and it has the guardrails in place, which are the fall protection. And manufacturers of the equipment that we get that are vertical do not require it. And OSHA does not require it, and BYU does not require it. They don't prohibit having fall protection there, but they do not require it because it's not a critical need. It's not necessary. But it is necessary for anything that extends out horizontally. All right. Okay, that takes us to our concerns log. I want to report to you now that I have now met with everyone, all of the shops, regarding the MSDS Online website shortcut, and that is in place, and the QR codes have been delivered and they're up in all of the shops. So I'm going to take that off the concerns list. B, Y-train upgrade, we talked about that. I'm going to keep that on the concerns list. I want to discuss a little bit more about that in January to kind of get your feedback, see how things are going in your areas. There is no update on the vehicle ergonomics Y-train course. That is still in the hopper, in the queue to be added to the course. And at this point, are there any new concerns any of you would like to have us put on the concerns log and address for this coming month?
Something we just talked about today out here at MHA Material Handling is the speed that people drive through this area. We have large equipment moving around constantly, and So speed is a real big issue for us out here.
Speed at the MHA specifically, right?
Yes.
Do
And
we,
a lot of these guys will know that I've talked, I don't care who you are, I've talked to administrators about driving too fast out here.
do we have a limit that has been posted there? Is it like
At the gate, there's a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit.
10 mile an hour? One thing that we could do to address that is to have each representative take that information back to their shops and stress it this month. Would that be something that would be helpful, Andy?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, I'll include that as part of the minutes. I'll also add it to our concerns log, and we'll bring it up in a future meeting as well to kind of see if any improvements have been made. Are there any other suggestions from the committee on how we might address this? Okay, if something comes to mind, or if in your discussion with your shops, anybody makes a suggestion that might be good to consider, please pass that along to us and we'll address that. Thank you.
What about getting one of those flashing radar signs? How expensive are those?
I don't know.
I know it makes me slow down when I see them.
Flashing, it's a speed radar sign, right?
Yeah, this flashes your speed.
Part of the problem is where it's mounted when you come in, it's mounted on the left of the gate, not the right, where most people look for those sort of things. And the other part is it's right at the gate, a little farther in on one of the buildings you drive by. After that, there's no more indication anywhere out here of speed.
So maybe more signs and maybe relocating the sign that is there, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah. How about painting 10 miles per hour speed limit on the roads as we drive in? We experience the same thing in moving area. Trucks and trailers trying to maneuver into the docks and stuff, and other vehicles going by quite swiftly. That might be an option.
What do you think, Robert? Are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here. That's not a bad idea. The only thing that we'd have to do is whenever we paint anything, we have to get approval from the right committees. You know, we used to work through Bob Ross and then the traffic committee. And they're pretty particular on what they want on the roads and stuff like that. So if we can get approval for that, I think it's a great idea.
Okay, all right. I'll work with you, Jared, to get some recommended wording down, and then we'll talk to Bob Ross's replacement and find out how to. Who's your contact with the traffic committee, Robert?
Well, it's his replacement now, which isn't it?
Nathan Summers.
Nathan.
Oh, Nathan. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk with Nathan and see how to go about getting an approval for something there in that compound there. Awesome, excellent ideas. Anything else? What about additional signing? Does that follow the same rule, Robert? If we wanted to put some more signs there or change the location of a sign?
Yeah, signing is a difficult thing too. It just has to come through the right source. A lot of the time we get signing changes that come from Jim Dane that go through Ole. And so I know that they meet with some, committee, but I don't know exactly who.
Okay, I will talk with Jim and Ole about or Jim first, about how to proceed with that. Maybe, Andy, would you be able to come up with a recommendation on number of signs and locations that might work for us?
Yeah, I can do that.
Awesome, that's great. I'll wait for that before I talk to Jim.
Yeah, they even get really specific on like verbiage. Like we had to put some new signs up over at the old Provo High, and it took a while to get just the right approval to have the right type of verbiage on the sign. It was really interesting.
Okay, we'll get the ball rolling. We'll put this on the concerns log and we'll address it until we have a resolution. Thank you. Anything else? All right, thank you for participating in this meeting. Our next one is scheduled for Tuesday, the 12th of January. That's the day after school starts, and we'll do another Zoom. And everybody have a wonderful holiday. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Hey,
David.
Dave, real quick, if those who are still there, hey, if you guys could please keep nominating people for safety awards, and if you get near misses or even good recommendations, safety recommendations, like I just heard like a ton you guys just said. Dave Bowick's got boxes of candy bars and things. We're trying to, this idea of trying to reward, just it's not like a reward system so much, more of a recognition process of just letting people know thank you for sharing safety stuff and thanks for looking out for each other. So keep doing that. There's some good awards that that Dave can fill you guys in on too. Thank you.
Yes, in fact, I don't want this box of candy bars I have to go stale. One is coming your way, Andy, for this recommendation, by the way.
There we go.
Thanks so much. Everybody have a great holiday.
Thank you.
Thanks.